Welcome back. Another episode of the yet-to-be-named Team Figgins podcast. We've got Aiden, myself, alongside Tyler Parker, Jacob Figgins, and a very special guest today from Team Figgins, Benjamin Stemen. Welcome, Ben, and how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully this isn't too awkward and we don't trip over our words too much.
No, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Obviously, you've not watched any of our previous episodes. It's not on.
I have.
We learned from the best then. We've got a few different topics to cover tonight. We've got, of course, we want to mention WACO. We've got the Open at Austin to talk about with Ohn Scoggins and the unbelievable performance that she put on there. Kind of what the offseason looks like down here. It's a little bit different now that some of the pros have left. And the tournament schedule down here is a little bit different. And then Tyler's going to wrap it up by talking about PDGA and A-Tiers. You know, when we mention PDGA on this show, it's going to be exciting. Let's start with WACO. Right. Super exciting tournament to watch. That I did get to catch a little bit of the end of that third round. I was watching it on the golf course, and that last hole coming down the stretch, I don't know if anyone watched highlights of that, but it was wild. Gaining through one of the craziest, gutsiest shots I've ever seen, 450 feet of straight hyzer over a tree to put it to 20 feet and then cash the putt. It was unbelievable. Nobody watched it, did they? I'm the only one. Did Ben watch it? Yeah.
WACO? Yeah, I saw. Okay. I did see it. Yeah, I saw highlights of it. Yeah, I was surprised it got to the green. It was a long ways back.
That was wild. And then on the FPO side, of course, you had Kristen, who just absolutely obliterated the entire field. Yeah. Per usual. Exciting tournament until this week. Talk to us about the Open at Austin, Tyler.
Okay, so I just want to say how excited I am. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched anything, but Nicholas Antilla winning was so exciting for me. I haven't actually got to go back and watch it. I've heard about how exciting it was because I guess he missed some short putt and then had to birdie out for the last 3 holes. And it's just amazing that he secured the win. But to see them put the cowboy hat on him and his emotion of being his first Pro Tour win, that is such an amazing thing to experience with somebody. And I don't know, maybe I'm just retarded, but I get way more excited seeing people from other countries come and win a Pro Tour event, because I'm this is I feel like it's a bigger achievement for them to travel and then play. I don't know. I think he's a great guy. His personality, his character, everything about him is if I were to be a high level disc golfer, I wish I could be as cool as him. I was so excited for him, and it was so amazing to watch.
Yeah, I was super happy to see him win. It was really cool to see, and he hit that 2 circle 2 putts to finish it out after missing that short one. It's probably 15-footer. It looked like that you talked about. So that was kind of nerve-wracking, but then 2 circle 2 putts to finish it out was pretty clutch. Had to go birdie to get it done in the dark.
Yeah, that was something that was really interesting. Did they cut out those holes mid-round?
Did they finished with the 15-hole layout on the third?
Yeah. Okay. They eliminated 3 holes. Yeah, I'm not sure when they made the decision. I assumed it was before the round, but I'm not.
I think it was sure. Before the round because of the weather delays that they were having.
Yeah. Yeah, that lead card teed off at 5:30 almost or something, I believe.
I guess it makes sense if I go back and look. It was holes 12, 15, and 16, right? Yeah, everyone all the way down is listed for pars for those holes. So that makes sense. Yeah, and for some of those guys, I'm looking down here, Scott Stokely may have been a blessing. Cuz
yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. We love Scott anyways. On the FPO side, of course, you have history being made with Ohn Scoggins. There was some confusion behind this, I think, judging by the comments that I saw on the Pro Tours post. She had the highest average rated tournament, so it wasn't the highest rated round for FPO, but she averaged the highest for an entire tournament that anyone ever has in FPO. So, Tyler, what do you want to say?
I guess I have girl math, but I'm how do you have not the highest rated round but still acquire the highest average? But I guess never mind. I just figured it out. We're gonna
averages. It's the key is in the actual question.
I'm just like, if it's record setting, why isn't it record setting? And then I'm like, you could have like a 1059, but she could like Paige, I think, had a 1059. She also could have shot 1,000 rated, so then her average is tanked for that round.
Exactly.
So that makes sense. Just disregard that.
She had a 1055 rated round. I think it was like top 5 highest ever or something like that. And then the average was 1029, which is the record.
She did this
either way
with a 990 rated round, first round.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is crazy.
What was her second rated?
Second round was
1055.
Oh, okay. So what was her final?
And then 1042 to finish, which is crazy.
Dang. Look at that. Dan Osborne and Ohn Scoggins just popping off in their last tournaments.
That's right. Isn't that the truth?
I'll bet 1029 average probably would have cashed in open too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's different layout, so it's hard to know what would have happened, but the average itself is probably good enough to
That's
cash.
A good question.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see.
That would have been cool to see.
Let's see. What's cash line usually? 44, 45?
Yeah, somewhere in there. 1020 has been like the average for cashing for the last few tournaments.
Ben,
but I'm not sure what
you're
it was
dead on. Zachary Nash in last cash tied for 44th, averaged 1020 for the event.
Wow,
there you go.
I love Zach Nash. Look at him go.
Incredible.
Cashing.
Yeah, if that was the cash line, then Ohn definitely would have cashed in FPO, shooting the same average.
That's impressive because she's such a little, just normal acting lady, and she just pops off. She's quite the disc golfer.
She doesn't throw super far, but she makes everything.
That's what she. Yeah, in her interview,
cool.
She was like, "I didn't think this would be the course that I got my win on." She's like, "I didn't play good here last year. Why would I thought it'd be my win?"
And
which they did redesign a lot, and it seemed like it was a much better course overall. I enjoyed watching it more this year than last year.
Have you played out there, Ben?
I think it was better. No, I played Texas States in Tyler, Texas, but I've never played in Austin at all.
This is the event that they replaced Texas States with, right? Or was that Waco?
Well, Texas State's still happening. It's just not.
They might have had it last year at the same year, but this year Texas State's is just like an A-Tier or something, I think.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. They replaced Belton, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of crazy. Looking at how well Ohn did compared to the field, you have Ohn, of course, in first, 1029 average for the event. In second place is Kristen Tatar at 1,000 rated for the event. And then in third place is Missy Gannon with 988 average. So that means she shot, 41 points better than third place. Like that is ridiculous. But also it's kind of out of nowhere, because even for herself, like if you saw that press conference with her at the beginning of the year where she was just like, I just want to win an event this year. That's my goal. And then third event of the year, she waxes the field by 40-point averages. So I don't know. Could be the start of something big for Ohn.
Has Gannon had more than one win so far this year?
No.
He won Memorial, but that was just an A-Tier.
Okay, so it's been a different win for every event. That's pretty cool to see. People that aren't your normal dominators just showing up and taking down wins. I love that. It's going to be a great season.
Yeah, Gannon's
won. A different
He's
story.
Normal, but Anthony and Nicholas are both new, and it's great.
So.
Well, and sorry, Jacob, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to add on top. I just feel like that makes it way more exciting for the average person watching.
For sure.
It's not the same.
Gives me hope that one day I might win in May too.
All right. Well,
or MPO in my next tournament. You can follow along if you want.
And
but either way, sorry, I'll let.
No. You go ahead.
No, I just think it's way cooler to see a different guy, and especially new guys, because it really it does get a little boring. I feel like for the normal person, if it's going between Paul and Ricky back and forth every single time.
Yeah, for sure.
Really,
I don't want to see Paul struggle, but I agree.
Yeah, I do want to see a Paul win, but
also nowadays what's really cool too is third card and even fourth card last day is still could shoot hot round and maybe win, which is
if your first name's Kristen, last name's Tatar.
Well, I'm taking MPO, but yeah.
I know.
Well, we saw that this week. If you follow golf at all, I refuse to call it ball golf. Fight me, but
Oh, come on!
at the Players this past week, Scotty Scheffler won from the what would be the chase card, like the second to last pairing, and he was just out on the range hitting balls, warming up just in case there was a playoff, and then the last putt missed, and he won standing on the range. Like, it was kind of a funny thing to watch, but we're gonna see a lot more of that, I think, and also it's kind of cool to see AB and Gannon Burr both tied for fourth. Together, the two other winners of the events so far this year. So it's kind of fun to see. Exciting tournament. These guys are shredding these courses. Yeah, there's only a 4-stroke difference between first and sixth. Like, everybody's kind of in it. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. What is the Texas State is the next event I think they're playing, even though it's an A-Tier. What's the next
I think it's a Pro Tour event, if I'm not mistaken. I thought Texas
State is again.
Event. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. It's on the Pro Tour website.
Yeah, so it's probably that and then Jonesboro or something.
So they just took it away for 1 year and then brought it back. Interesting.
I guess so.
Is it going to be like a
So who's our
silver?
pick for?
Oh wait, no. Interesting. So it's listed on the Pro Tour website, but at the very bottom it says not a DGPT event.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an A-Tier.
Whoa, you're right.
Yeah, it's just in the schedule.
That's
because
very
most
interesting.
all touring pros are still playing it because it's part of the flow, but it's not an actual event, which doesn't really make sense.
Well, what's weird is it's like on the Pro Tour website, it shows a button to watch on Disc Golf Network. So that's very weird.
That is interesting.
Maybe they're not actually gonna have it on
DGN's
there,
filming, but maybe it's like a silver series. Is it one of the qualifiers?
Wait.
The Q series?
Hold on. Jacob, are you looking at the part where it shows the event history and then there's an asterisk where it says not a DGPT event?
No, it says 2024 Texas State Disc Golf Championships, March 29th through 31st, Houston, Texas.
Whoa. Okay.
It's very weird. I'm not fully sure what the deal is with it, but yeah, I guess it's not a DGPT event.
I'm on the same website, and it literally.
But the Pro Tour
is
selling tickets on the same page.
What?
Yeah, it literally looks like everything looks like a Pro Tour event until you get to that little asterisk.
That's talking about the event history.
We're just dumb.
The years that it was.
That's why I was asking, because that's talking about the event history. So it is a Pro Tour event now?
So it is a Pro Tour event. Yes. Yep.
And it was a Pro Tour event last year? How did we forget about that?
It was a Pro Tour event from 2022 to now. So it's been a Pro Tour event. This will be a third time.
It's been off and on a couple times before.
Yeah.
And they've also moved it, too.
Yeah.
I think it's like in Houston now, and it used to not be. I think it moves around.
It's at Brock Park in Houston now.
Is it sponsored by Lone Star?
Yes, it is.
Big surprise.
Speaking of which, maybe we should talk about on another episode. Maybe we'll spend some time digging into Lone Star just as a business model, because I am fascinated. It's like they tried to do the live golf kind of thing where they just throw a bunch of money in and hope that it sticks, and for them it just didn't work out super well. But I don't know.
I feel like that would be a very interesting episode, looking over like the rise and very quick downfall of Lone Star.
Drop in the comments
and all of their
Are there still like a lot of AMs like sponsored by them that are?
I feel like every other.
We still have a handful here in our area.
Yeah. Every other 800 rated MA3 AM is a Lone Star.
Did you guys see the tweet? Did you guys see the tweet where the guy submitted his dog and it got a
Yes. Wasn't that incredible?
That's
amazing.
That was the best thing. That's when you know Lone Star's made it.
We'll have an episode to discuss that then. That's a good topic.
We'll just call it the Lone Star debate.
Yeah.
Nice.
That'll be a good episode.
It's a perfect name for that. Okay. Moving on to whatever's next, which is, the season in Florida. It is kind of interesting, being down here outside of season, because I feel like our main season really happens in the fall and then over the winter time. Like all of our big events, I feel like happen during that time. And then as soon as all the pros who come down here to practice leave, it's kind of like there's still a lot of things going on, but we're not playing any big events. Like, I mean, I guess Throwdown counts is that an A-Tier still? So Throwdown's still an A-Tier. You're going to have Sarasota Championship.
Wink, wink.
But like other than that, you got to drive up to like Tallahassee to play another A-Tier for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being new to disc golf over the last 7 years, but I feel like the off season in Florida used to be like kind of mediocre until the last like 3 or 4 years, and then that's when it really became like a whole different off season where there's lots of events. I mean, like Jacob and I planning the dates for Team Figgins 4.0, you literally couldn't find a single week for like 3 months straight. And so maybe it's always been kind of busy for the off season for touring pros, but this off season that just passed was a total nightmare on trying to plan any event. Like every single weekend you looked at was a conflicting weekend of some other event. Our limitations were like 2 weekends. And on top of that, you know, what would have been on maybe 2 other weekends left were filled with the All-Star event and then chess.com to start. So I don't know. I feel like we take a transition from around now, March, April, and we do have like a gear up in AM tournaments, like CMB tiers that goes like for a couple months. You can kind of do like a AM tour if you wanted per se.
Well, yeah, Ben, talk about that a little bit because you play MPO down here, and you've been a professional for I guess a few years now. So like, talk about what it's like. Obviously, just playing more local events, and then obviously when those bigger events come to town or happen down here as they usually do, like what that's like for you.
Yeah, during the summer, I think it's just the weather is a big part of it. It's going to be really hot and a lot of rain, so people try to schedule their biggest events for when the weather is nicest. Also, when there's more pros down, so that's kind of two nice benefits people have for running big events in the winter. And then in the summer, you still have some B tiers, but just not as many A tiers, I think, for those reasons. There's still quite a few tournaments just on a smaller scale. But, yeah, I play all year. It's just in the summertime you're going to sweat a lot more and have to use your umbrella a lot more often. But
I'd much rather not have to wear gloves, though.
Yeah. I also think part of the reason that it's so busy in the winter now is there's more courses than ever, and everybody loves their home course and tries to run a nice event on it during the winter. Like Polk County Open, they didn't even have any courses like a handful of years ago, so that's a new tournament. Stuff like that's just going to make it more and more crowded, but you also have more disc golfers than ever, so hopefully that balances it out.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see kind of what the season looks like in other places across the country, because I feel like here, I guess where I was going with this is that it feels like the season is backwards here. Like our disc golf season down here is actually like September, October through March. And then as soon as the Pro Tour leaves, which now it starts here, which is really cool, then as soon as they take off from here, it's like our season slows down a lot. And then a lot of the big events. But I mean, it makes sense because all those pros are here.
I think it's just weather.
Yeah, it could be.
I think it's just weather too. Like up north, you can't have events in the winter. So if you have events down here, you can draw people from up north to come down and play because we have the sun shining and the grass is still showing green and everything. So it's a good reason to come down and play disc golf.
Yeah, life is hard in paradise.
Yeah.
Don't come down here during the summer, though. It is awful.
I don't know. Give me the heat any day. I will only complain if it goes over 90.
Which, to be fair,
which is May through October.
No, it's like 85.
It is brutal. It's like a sauna, just 24/7 from May.
I hate the cold too, so
to
I can't
like
say anything.
Even through October. It is so hot. Like it is just brutal. I wish I had like a Toronto house for the summer. Wish I could summer in Canada.
Yeah, that would be the goal. Actually, summering in Europe. That would be the goal.
There you go. Not to take us completely off topic from disc golf, but I feel like I like to ask this to everyone. But would you rather be hot or cold? Like, if you have to be one of the extremes, which one would you rather be?
Hot.
Oh, cold for sure. Not even close. Think about it.
It's so funny how everyone's
think
different.
about it.
I'd absolutely rather be hot. I'd rather sweat.
Think about this though.
But I was born and raised here, so biased.
I wasn't, but
to a certain degree.
Usually the local Floridians are like, I'm done with the heat, get me out.
I'm a local Florida guy. I'm one of those get me out people, because think about this. You can always put more layers on.
You're an Arkansan.
Okay, I was born there, but I've lived here my whole life. I like to claim it, but it's kind of a trumped up thing. But think about it. You have clothes that you can always put on. You can always put more layers on. It can be negative 10 degrees, and you could just add another layer, and you'll be fine.
I like disc golf, though, and it's kind of hard to disc golf with
Who wants to wear
gloves,
clothes?
a face mask, and 5 layers.
But there is no solution to the heat when you're outside. There is nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you just sweat, and you're miserable all the time.
It's good for your body to release toxins.
Okay, I wasn't going for the whole health argument here. Didn't know we were going that direction.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I get tired of sweating during the summer. It gets hot. I don't know.
I get that.
I do wish our winter was like a tiny bit longer, but yeah.
I wish our winter was like a little bit warmer and our summer was a little bit cooler. And then
we'd be Hawaii.
There would be no wrong. Yeah, honestly,
California.
One of my friends just played a tournament in Hawaii. His brother works for an airline, and so he flies standby everywhere, and he was able to fly out there for free. Man, I'm like, next year, can you take a friend, because I want to play a tournament in Hawaii.
Dude, for real.
He won too, so it's super cool.
Jacob, why would you rather be hot than cold? You're inside all the time. You work in tech.
That's true. That is true. There's something about being cold that I feel like I just don't operate well when it's cold. I'd rather if I'm sweating, I can still as long as I'm drinking water and I'm good, I can still keep going. And maybe that's from I played baseball outside in the summer for the first 15 years of my life, so I guess I'm just maybe used to that. But it I don't know. I can't do the cold. I don't know.
Cold
but
sucks.
I definitely would rather sweat than be cold. I get the clothes argument. I totally respect that, but I don't know.
Okay.
I'd rather.
I respect it for you.
Follow up to this question before we move on. This is a completely different question. Don't get confused. These are not the same question. What feels better, cooling off after you've been hot or getting warm after you've been cold? There is only one answer. There's only one correct answer to this.
Probably warming up for me. I mean, every time I take a shower, it's hot.
I don't do no cold showers.
I don't like cold showers. Are miserable. Respect to Ricky Wysocki for taking ice baths. I'm man, that's tough.
There's been a few different guys jumping in.
I get an ice bath at my house.
Micah Gross sent me a video of him jumping into a 50-degree lake the other day. They were all getting into it. I was like, all right, you guys have fun with that.
To be fair, both feel great, so it's a hard choice.
Yeah, but that's a difficult question. But yeah, I feel like warming up, getting into a warm building after if you've been outside in the actual cold, that's definitely there's nothing. I would rather have
I think cooling off after a nice workout.
Tyler just wants to be a contrarian. That's really all it is.
He wants to be different than everyone else.
I like to be warm all the time, but if I've gone for a run or something and then I come back into a cold house, the first whiff of coolness on your sweat is kind of enjoyable too.
Well, while we've got Ben here, I'm curious because obviously he's kind of guest starring tonight. We've got him joining us. Talk about your disc golf career a little bit. We all did this when we first started. Just tell us a little bit about kind of what got you started. And I mean, obviously you're still playing. You're playing professionally down here locally. So talk about that a little bit.
And how you joined
Team Figgins. That's right.
Yeah, I might need some help remembering all the details on that. But playing disc golf almost 13 years, which is crazy. Can't even believe it hardly. But started when I was 20. Friend in the church named Adam was getting a group, the youth group, together to play something that we could all do together, and he picked disc golf. And I had played kind of with my dad when I was a little kid, but not really played. I mean, loosely, just followed along and threw a little bit. So I knew what it was, but then I was 20 years old, we went out with the youth and played once, and I got hooked and started playing. and been playing ever since. Haven't really taken any breaks even. So, and then I started playing pro like in 2016. Signed up for the PDGA 2017. I played a long time before I signed up. But then, once I started playing tournaments, that kind of took over. Disc golf casually was fun at the beginning, and then once you start playing tournaments and get hooked on that, that kind of becomes the draw. So, yeah. And then Team Figgins, I forget how I found out about them originally, but I bought some discs from them a few times. And then Tyler, I think, got sponsored and asked if I would be interested in it too, because Jacob had mentioned it to him or something, I guess. Do you remember that, Tyler, how that went?
Yeah, that's exactly the case.
Pretty much exactly how it went? Okay, yeah. Now, when was that? 22? 21?
I want to say 21.
I think it was 21.
Maybe 2020?
Seems right. Maybe.
Well, wait, we did a rewind the other day whenever Jacob and I talked about me joining.
I think it was
Figgins.
21 that Ben and you actually were part of the
I
team.
think we met in 2020, and then I joined in 2021.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then Ben was like the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching all of your YouTube videos and stuff. That was good times back in the early days.
Yeah, then we started doing some with them, and then that paused. We've been on a hard pause. We got to resume that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Now we're here.
Here we are. Now we're on the podcast.
Start at the bottom.
That's right. Dude, you're on the 2018 South Florida Open lead card with Calvin and Chris.
Yeah, you YouTube.
No, I found you on the PDGA. I just typed in your name, and it was like, oh.
Oh, really? They pull up
some kind of old video, I guess. Either it could be a YouTube video or some kind of article.
Yeah, the disc golf guy was there.
Old Terry.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how, like, because Tyler talked about you, Ben, and so then I went and looked you up, and that's like the first time that I watched you play was, I think, on that disc golf guy coverage in 2018.
Pretty much anybody that's
so janky. It's crazy.
I've got the.
Still not great, but.
I have a picture of you throwing off of hole 2 at Payne before there was a concrete pad or a video or something.
Yeah,
it's like the best thing ever. Because it's
back when Payne was brand new.
The form is so cringy. I love it.
Yeah, that's the best. Looking back at your original videos, oh my goodness, I have some absolute gems from my first time. So good. Maybe that'll be an episode. We just talk about our first. We all screen share our first time playing disc golf.
First video we can find of our.
I've already done that, guys.
That's right. That's right. On the first episode, it was incredible. Oh man. Good times.
All right. Well, speaking of Tyler, I know, Tyler, you had a topic you wanted to talk about, I believe.
Yes, I want to know everyone's opinion because I'm not a fan. So
clearly,
and I'm going to give my TD spill on this. I'm a big supporter of the PDGA when they do things that benefit the players or clubs or tournament directors. Unfortunately, it feels like the PDGA does not do a lot of things to support tournament directors or clubs, but more so the members. Not a PDGA hater. I just have an input on this topic. That we're going to talk about. So I personally think that the PDGA should stand behind tournament directors more because, as you all know or should know at this point, tournament directing is a volunteer position 99% of the time. And there should be some kind of built-in security to either support them or pay them, first off. I will say kudos to PDGA last year for implementing a rule that says that if anyone does a chargeback on PayPal for a tournament registration, that you could be disqualified from the PDGA because we use PayPal for everything, and basically PayPal will always side with the player if they tried to withdraw, and then there were stipulations where if you withdraw for a certain period, you would not be able to get your money back. But yet, if the player would open a ticket with PayPal, they would automatically get a refund. But anyways, this topic is multitasking. All right, so the topic is the change in the radius between A tiers this year. So in years past, before this year, it had to be 75 miles between an A tier and any other event, I believe, at least like B and C tiers. It might have been even further for A tiers. Anyways, they reduced it to 50 miles. Okay, so what's the point in this? Like, why would you make the change that is possibly negatively impacting an A tier to allow a C tier to operate? I bring this up with no hard feelings at all, so it is what it is. But like, we're running an A tier in May, and in Riverview at Showman's, they're running a C tier the same day. I fully support the club. Super excited that they're doing events. Just don't love that it's the same weekend as an A tier. Whenever I try to capture 300 people already, it's like, and the event basically runs on like amateurs more than anything, to keep it funded and all, because we get kickbacks from disc manufacturers through our players packs that we purchase for AMs, and it's a circle of life. So because like we're operating 3 parks, one of our parks is only 30 minutes from this course. I was like, well, does that not count? And so the clear stipulation is it is the mileage between what is listed on PDGA as Tournament Central to each park, which happens to be 48 miles. So they're good to run their event. I just feel like it's probably a bad move on PDGA, because why would I want to run if I'm a C tier, I'm probably not going to want to run an event conflicting with an A tier. I don't think they knew that we were running ours that weekend when they signed it up. So like I said, I have no hard feelings against them. Like, good with the club running their event. Hope it doesn't affect either one of us and that we both get a great turnout. But I do have to say I disagree with the PDGA on making a move like that, because I don't feel like they're benefiting any player being able to play more. I feel like they're hindering clubs and TDs in this move. What do you guys think?
Ben, I want to hear your thoughts on this first before I say anything.
I agree. I think they should have held off on that. I think if it was like post-COVID boom when everything was filling up in 10 seconds, it would probably be fine. But nowadays, with things not filling up very fast or at all, I think they should have left it the way it was. Maybe leave a clause in there that, you know, TDs could waive and like allow another tournament in or something if they wanted to. But I think that rule should have stayed at 75 miles or whatever it was. And as far as TDs getting paid, I think as a player, I would be actually in favor of paying $2 for a TD per player myself, you know, like chipping in $2 for like a C tier and $3 for a B tier. I'd pay $5 for an A tier just to go to the TD to pay. I think that'd be kind of a good thing to do too. And shout out to Caleb Henson. Actually, I signed up for a tournament that he's running, and he put it in an option in the like a tab that you could donate $2, $5 or whatever to the TD, and I did. I think it'd be a good idea. But yeah, I would be in favor of leaving it the old way, 75 miles.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate then. For the other side, because I'm like trying to think through what the arguments for and against this would be. Definitely agree that I think it hurts everyone in the long run. It's just from what I know about it, because this is like Tyler explaining it is the first time I'm hearing about it. I think it does hurt everyone in the long run because one, it obviously is going to hurt tournament attendance in the present, and then consequently will lead to less people running tournaments, and then consequently will lead to less tournaments being available, and then that's when it hurts the players. Currently, I think it benefits like new players because obviously, I don't have to drive to this one because this one's closer to home, and I have this C tier I can go play, and I don't really care that it's, it doesn't mean as much as an A tier, and there's not gonna, it's not as nice of courses or all of that. I think that's probably where the other side will come in and argue is, it's providing more opportunities for newer disc golfers to go play. But I think that argument down the road is going to start to go away as people realize like, if I'm not going to be able to fill up my A tier, I'm not going to keep running it every year. Like, we're not just going to keep running a half full, huge tournament every year that we have to put tons of funds into and we just keep losing money. They stop running those tournaments, and then the people in that area don't have tournaments to play.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at this year. So I have 200 AMs allotted, 72 pros. It's like the second largest event that happens in our area, probably next to GCCO. And I want to fill it up. We don't have the diversity or the quantity of courses that GCCO runs, so we run with a more limited, slim like package to offer the players on what we can play. Like amateurs will be playing Water Tower Lakeview, pros will be playing Bennett Tower. It's straightforward. Those 3 courses are what we have to offer. Unfortunately, we don't get to mix in a variety, so that does turn some people off. With that working against us, acquiring 272 people to fill my event might have been super easy in 2020, 2021. Last year in 2023, we basically filled it up and we hit 250. So we were short of the number and close enough to feel good. This year, my confidence of going over 200 is kind of low. And how do I order players packs with specific cert sizes for all of these events? And you can ask Jacob. Jacob and I just ran a B tier back in January that half filled up or 60% filled up. We ordered for a full event. So if you go to teamfiggins.com, you can get a great deal on a players pack.
That's right.
But anyways, that's beside the point. So it's just, like you said, it's a penalty. It's almost a penalty to a tournament director, because if I go and spend let's say my budget for 300 players is $30,000, and I spend that, and then I only get 200 people signed up, I'm probably like 6,000-7,000 below my budget. It's a little scary with that volume to do it. So I don't know. That's why I'm not in favor of it. I just wanted to voice my opinion as a TD. Probably means nothing on this level, but at least it raises awareness to our local community.
No, I think you're right. Jacob, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just feel like you're gonna make you do let new people in, or maybe people most A tiers are gonna be 2-day events, if not all. I think that might be a requirement. I'm not sure, Tyler, but it does let people who may not want to travel 2 separate days, 50 miles or whatever away, or 75 miles away. But really, I feel like you're just gonna make people, like your TDs who have been running these events for years and years and years, that are running these A tiers, because obviously you have to run an event for a certain amount of time really to get that A tier status. So you're just gonna make them upset at the end of the day. Tyler, I don't think Tyler's upset, but you do you're screwing over your people who have been loyal to you for all this time in favor of maybe making a little bit more money potentially by having multiple events. But at the end of the day, I feel like you're really just, there's more downsides than upsides in this situation.
6 to 8 A-tiers a year, so tiers have a lot of other open weekends that they can all pack in together on, and then players have their options then. So I think leaving the A-tier weekends more exclusive would be better, because a variety of courses for amps to choose from is great, but you can do that with C-tier. A-tier weekend, kind of leave that a little more open, I think.
Yeah. If you missed that with the audio, he's just saying it's better in essence to leave it with just a more elite event going on, where everyone can enjoy how well run and put together that event is, instead of having a bunch of smaller events with less support, less cool player packs. Is that's kind of what you're getting at?
Kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. We're having some trouble hearing you.
Very quiet. Yeah, I'm not sure what's.
I was just saying, I think C tiers have a lot of open weekends that they can kind of pack in together, and then you can have that option for AMs to pick a course that they like better by having C tiers that are close together maybe. But that A tier, having that a little bit more space to operate, is probably going to be better. There's only 6 to 8 A tiers a year in Florida probably. So
yeah, and honestly, with Pro Tour events too, I'm sure they're not running A tiers within a 30-45 minute radius of a Pro Tour event. Obviously, not only are people not going to want to play it, but they're going to want to go watch the Pro Tour event if they're not good enough to qualify for whatever that would be. But good thoughts. I think that's probably a good place to wrap us up there for that topic. Let us know if you have any other topics you want us to cover. We got to talk about Lone Star. That is such a good idea. I am excited for that. Thank you so much. If you are listening to us, thank you so much for tuning in. We're super happy to be here, and we're grateful that you listen. Give us an idea of what you think the podcast should be named. Make sure to like, Give us a quick subscribe for more content. Let us know what else you want to hear. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you next time.